Good evening. Welcome to MELLO TV. I'm your host, Evan Hewitt. To help break down the findings among Jamaicans who were asked the question of whether or not they would migrate if given the opportunity, will the numbers tonight shock you, or will they be what you have expected? Joining the discussion tonight to analyze this evening's data are Pollster Bill Johnson and political analyst and commentator Paul Bourne. Gentlemen, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Good evening.
Bill, starting with you, let's look at the first set of numbers. How did persons poll when asked whether or not they would migrate if given that opportunity?
Well, almost one half of Jamaicans, 49%, said they would migrate if they had the opportunity. Only 44% said they would prefer to continue living in Jamaica. These numbers were very consistent by political party also. 46% of those who voted for the JLP would migrate, 48% would stay in Jamaica, 49% of those who voted for the PNP would migrate, 48% would stay in Jamaica, and 50% of those who didn't vote would migrate, compared to 42% who would prefer to stay in Jamaica.
Paul, let's bring you in here. Based on the findings, a plurality of Jamaican citizens would migrate if they had the opportunity to do so. Are these numbers shocking or expected? Your thoughts?
The matter of migration dates back years before that. You can actually go into any book relating to migration, population studies, demographic studies, and look at what has happened in Jamaica, in particular the extension of the Caribbean, when we had World War II, and what happens after World War II, what happens after World War I, and the fact that persons from these destinations or countries were technically asked in a subtle way to migrate because of perceived opportunities. So what is actually happening here in Jamaica today is a clear reflection of what continues to happen in terms of not only the matter relating to brain drain as a result of this migration, but the clear indication, the pull factor that is pushing people away from Jamaica. When you look at the figures, 49 in every 100 Jamaicans would want to migrate if they are given an opportunity. And this clearly indicates that something is systematically wrong in Jamaica to have so many persons would want to leave Jamaica if given an opportunity.
Bill, let's look at this question based on gender and education. What are those numbers showing?
Okay, well, basically, there's no difference between men and women when it comes to wanting to migrate. 50% of the men said they would migrate, 49% of the women would migrate. Where there's a significant difference, though, is in education. And Jamaica would suffer from a huge brain drain if the educated, as the people who are the most educated are the ones who most want to migrate. 58% of those with at least a college education say they want to migrate. 50% of those with a high school education want to migrate, and 37% of those with less than a high school education want to migrate. So there would be a significant brain drain in this country, assuming these people could migrate.
Paul, interesting numbers there. Persons with high education leading the line of wanting to migrate. Jamaica would suffer from a brain drain, as was mentioned earlier, as the educated would be more likely to migrate than those with little education. Are we in deep trouble, Paul?
I think we need to reconstruct that brain drain argument into deficiency drain if this were to happen. I remember some years ago as a person who was teaching mathematics in a particular high school in Jamaica. When Britain came to Jamaica, then my entire math department was wiped out. I was the only person that wasn't left in the math department. And why I presume I was left in the math department was because I was studying and reaching my final year at the University of West Indies doing a degree in econ that I did not leave. But possibly, if that weren't the case for me, I would have left. So what is happening here, and this is no different from what happened long ago in Jamaica, The other countries that are pulling the Jamaicans and pulling other nationals are pulling the best. So if it is that the economy is not structured to maintain and keep the best, they are going to leave. But it's not that the best are leaving Jamaica. It's your brain that you have actually trained. These are the individuals who ought to be driving productivity, driving production, driving policy, driving development. And if these individuals are leaving, Jamaica is in a sad, sad state.
Let's look at the education a bit more. The wealth of the nation is proven in how our future looks and the quality of the educated in the society. Are we in a serious dilemma if we are unable to convince these persons to not migrate?
Well, we can actually do whatever we want to try to convince persons to migrate or to actually remain in Jamaica. But there are some fundamental issues happening in the society that will tell these persons whether to stay or not to stay. Now, when you look at the crime situation in Jamaica, and I really want to do, because I was doing some statistics earlier today to give Jamaicans an idea as to what is really going on. We look at the murder rate. In the last 7 years in Jamaica, we have lost 9,162 Jamaicans. Listen carefully, 9,162 Jamaicans, averaging 5 persons per day. How do you encourage individuals to stay in a society like this, where they are highly likely to be murdered? Not even to mention the issue relating to rape. There are 4 times more rape than murders in Jamaica. But let's go beyond that. If you were to take Jamaica and New York City, Jamaica has 10 times more murders than New York City. And New York City is 20 times larger in terms of population than Jamaica. When you look at some other things, Jamaica is ranked #1 in the Caribbean in terms of murders. What are we doing? So even if we want to encourage these individuals to stay, there are some clear realities on the ground that are actually happening that are pushing people away from staying in Jamaica. So as long as an individual has the education or the resources or the family background, they will automatically believe in Jamaica. So what is going to happen to Jamaica? Every time, every year, every decade, every minute, we will be retraining individuals and the society will go in nowhere. So that is relating to vision. There's little or no vision when a society is losing its best in terms of their minds. We are in a decay position when we are losing our best. And this is a sad, sad state that is happening in Jamaica.
Defying the words and the lyrics of the song that says, Aki and me saltfish, sweet, sweet Jamaica, nah lithia. Bill, we have more data to break down as it relates to the socio-economic group and the age group polled on this question. What are those numbers showing?
I'm glad you didn't ask me to sing. Those 18 to 44, by a significant majority, wish to migrate. You can see 57% of those 18 to 24, 62% of those 25 to 34, 55% of those 35 to 44. Those who are 45 to 54 are split. 47% migrate, 48% stay in Jamaica. However, 55 and older, by significant majorities, these people prefer to stay in Jamaica rather than migrate. 64% of those 55 to 64 want to stay in Jamaica. 73% of those 65 and older want to stay in Jamaica. Now, when it comes to socioeconomic groups, those in the highest socioeconomic group, 66% of them want to migrate. 54% of those in the middle class want to migrate. 52% of those in the working class want to migrate, and only 40% of those in the so-called lower class want to migrate, and 54% of them want to stay in Jamaica. So these are really very, very troubling numbers for the country.
Troubling numbers indeed. Paul, serious business. What could have caused that in all levels of society? A large percentage of persons just don't want to live here in a country that majority of them grew up and got an education and even built a family and family life.
attributed to what is happening in Jamaica. But if we were to take a look at Jamaica where we are now and compare Jamaica in terms of pre-independence into independence, we realize that, and what some people are not really understanding what is happening in Jamaica is that when Britain actually was here, they plundered our resources, took our resources and actually made themselves better. And that's something that this program maybe not want to deal with, but that's an issue. So what is left in Jamaica in terms of really is a remnant, so to speak, in terms of resources. And what has happened over the years is that many Jamaicans, despite all the challenges, have stuck hard to the task and have actually tried to make this country into a better place. But what is really happening in Jamaica? Those persons who are politicians, the JLP and the PNP, have squandered the resources of Jamaica by way of mismanagement. And people are fully aware of this. So when you look at the middle class, you're talking about 2 in every 3 individuals in the middle class would want to leave. That is a sad, sad state. And these are the individuals with the resources. And if they want to leave, what is going to happen to those who are poor? So when the poor say that they want to stay in Jamaica, it's because they know they can't get a visa or because they can't get certain resources, not because they don't want to leave. So what is happening in Jamaica? The people are starved of opportunities, of resources. The crime matter is frustrating in Jamaica, and people see no change in terms of political leadership. And even if there's a change in political leadership from the JLP to the PNP, people are seeing the same hegemony in terms of the same individuals who are going to plunder the resources of Jamaica, even if they are young or old in terms of the political parties.
The series of MELLO TV Bill Johnson poll is certainly bringing out the real truth and the facts as they exist. Someone said you have to be brutally frank, and that is the way it is being put. Paul, those in the lowest socioeconomic group and also those 55 and older would be less likely to migrate than others. What could have impacted these persons?
The answer is simple. A number of these individuals have actually made their mark in life. And many of them are here in Jamaica as let's put it, give them a quote, retired residents. And many of them are stricken in terms of certain ailments. So they don't want to actually migrate, because to migrate is going to actually put more stress in them in terms of going to work or going to do some stuff. So it's not that they wouldn't want to migrate. Is the fact that many of them are returning to Jamaica, and those that are here are seeing they're looking at themselves in terms of their twilight years, looking forward to depart this earth than trying to actually make more resources. So that is fundamentally the reason that they are saying they want to stay in Jamaica. But I want us to look at some figures. In the last 19 years in Jamaica, we have lost approximately 270,000 Jamaicans. Listen carefully. In the last 19 years, we have lost almost 270,000 Jamaicans to migration. That is a staggering number of Jamaicans. And remember carefully that many of these individuals are the educated class, the young class, and the upper class. So we're losing our best in Jamaica every single day. And where are we? Worse off every year. And this is a sad state that is happening in our society.
Very sad indeed. Well, our team visited the streets and asked the public if they would migrate and the reasons. Here's what they had to say.
All right, that's a definitely yes, and it's mainly because job opportunity. And economy-wise, it's very hard. We're struggling here, and who we're looking up to, I don't think they're setting the example that they should. And so it's painted a bad picture. So even though we might want to stay and help build our country, it's discouraging. So yeah, I would definitely go out and try to make myself a better person rather than making sacrifice and it just going in vain.
Some of the people in Jamaica, they're very ungrateful because the Prime Minister is trying his best, you know. And most of these nurses who you see is going away, talking about they find green pastures, they find they're ungrateful. And when they go away, the behavior they have in Jamaica here.
My name is Garrett Dawson, you know. And if I get the chance to leave Jamaica to go into another country, I would surely take that opportunity because I would get to explore another side of the world. I've never left Jamaica before, so I would get to explore and know how great God is.
I would leave the country based on job availability and the depreciation of our dollar. The dollar value is far more better overseas than in Jamaica. So if you work for a short duration of time and you come back to Jamaica, it's better.
Name's Leon Elliott, and if I had an opportunity to go overseas, whatever country, Canada, Europe, Asia, to work, I would do, because the education and the work market is bigger than Jamaica, and it gives you an opportunity to further study and to learn more. And the more you can learn, the more you can give back to your country. If you check a dollar to a dollar in a lot of different countries overseas, or a dollar compared to their dollar is nothing.
The truth is, my heart is set on being a patriotic Jamaican, but when you check on reality, the reality states that based on the economic challenges that we are facing now, the more feasible position is to migrate. And based on what I've seen, based on my studies, is that after a year or two, the significant financial compensation is far different doing the same job here in Jamaica. So based on the finances, it would be best for me to migrate. However, I am hoping my country, based on the leaders and their policies, would come up with a more conducive method of keeping the brilliance in the country, because we have a lot of brilliant people and we are migrating.
Yeah, of course, I take it. Worse if I US me I go, you know what I mean? Better opportunity, you know what I mean? I can help some of my family them. You know, I can do all two jobs.
No, because I am not really a fussy person. I mean, I love foreign. I'd rather to get a visitor's visa where I can go and come as me like. Cause no way no better than you don't know. I just what me say, straight.
2 words missing from that interview, those interviews that we did. The terms allegiance and patriotism. Bill, how did the people poll on the question on reasons they would migrate or stay in Jamaica?
Okay, well, the main reasons given for migration were better jobs, better opportunities, a better lifestyle, a better standard of living, which 23%. The jobs and opportunities were 53%. Less crime, 6%. Jamaica is just too hard, 4%. I have family overseas, 4%. The currency is stronger, 4%. The reasons why people would prefer to continue living in Jamaica, I love Jamaica. Jamaica is the best, mentioned by 24%. I was born here, my roots are here, 12%. Not leaving my country, 11%. Free to do what I want in Jamaica, 4%. These are the reasons that people give for both wanting to migrate and preferring to live in Jamaica.
11% of Jamaicans wanting to stay, not leaving their country. That is, Paul, you and I. Job opportunity is top of the list of the people's reasons why they want to migrate. Where are the jobs, Paul? What is the word of advice you would offer to the government and all those who would benefit from lesser migration and our people remaining in the country?
I said before, and I'm repeating it, that the matter relating to injustice and inequality is creating problems in Jamaica. All right? So it's not so much job opportunities, you know, because there are many persons in Jamaica who are working, but life is just still difficult for them. So what this job opportunity really means is a job that could make them livable, which is not the case in Jamaica. Now, I'm fully aware in terms of, as a student of economics, the fact relating to pricing and structure and the whole issue relating to profit. But I think a number of these organizations, institutions need to look at exactly how they are creating profit in Jamaica. When you have a company that makes $1 billion and many of the workers are underpaid, lowly paid, many of those same workers who are educated are going to migrate, that indicates a level of injustice in our society. And I'm speaking of particular institutions. National Commercial Bank, I will actually call names, is one such company. And why I'm calling name, because I remember studying at University of the West Indies, and a colleague of mine who was at that bank as a supervisor was unable to attend University of the West Indies because of unable to actually afford it, while the company was making billions, millions of dollars. Now, that is a level of injustice in Jamaica. So it's not that people want jobs, because many of them do have a job. The issue is equitable pay that they can survive. Now, when you look at the society in which persons are laboring and all they are doing, and I use the word labor in terms of means difficulty and does not mean work. So people are laboring and all they can get out of that labor is meager survival, meager existence. Then it begs to reason why many persons would actually go into scamming, because scamming is easier, faster, more resources and all of that. So it's a sad state that Jamaica is in, and all of this is as a result of leadership. So when you look at these results, what you can actually say to the government, and by extension those in the upper class, is that your leadership has failed Jamaican persons. So what we need to do is to address leadership. We need to stop squandering Jamaican resources. And when I say squander, I'm talking about corruption. Corruption is too high in Jamaica compared to many other places in the world. Now, if we stop squandering resources, reduce the matter relating to corruption, address the matter relating to social inequalities and injustices, we will have a better country. Now, I want some people to really understand my passion relating to this issue. I remember some years ago, about 5 years ago, I left Jamaica as an educated person. And having a particular skill there, many persons in the world want. I left Jamaica. And I decided to come back for one reason only. I said to myself, I need to make a contribution to this society. Even though I would have made a better life in terms of overseas. But how many persons are going to do that? And that is where we are in Jamaica. So I am saying to the political leaders, you have squandered the resources of our people. You have destroyed their psyche. You have demoralized them. It is time, and I'm saying it slowly, it is time to have a leadership where the people of Jamaica will become first, they'll be guaranteed success, they'll be mobilized into wanting to be people and want to remain in Jamaica.
The brutal truth being told and being brought out by the MELLO TV Bill Johnson poll. The facts are squarely on the table. Bill, before we go further in our discussion, tell us where the people say they would go if they chose to migrate.
Okay, well, almost one half of them, 47%, would say they'd definitely go to the United States, 27% to Canada, 19% to the UK, and 2% to the Cayman Islands, and the rest were scattered around the world.
Paul, already a recent study shows that there's close to 965,355 Jamaican Americans. What does the powers that be in Jamaica need to do, and quickly do so, to have this migration slow down?
Now, when you look at the figures are indicating that, listen, people do not see prosperity in Jamaica. And when I say prosperity, I'm talking about futuristic prosperity, because remember, persons are looking at economic opportunities, social opportunities, security and environmental issues to make their decision whether to remain or stay in Jamaica. So what is clearly happening inside people's mind? They do not see a futuristic plan by the government and the social structure that will pull them into wanting to stay in Jamaica. So what does it mean for those who are in the political sphere? Is that you have destroyed the whole impetus, the whole person of people in Jamaica, to the point where people are just downright frustrated. And therefore, that could explain why it is a number of these young men will take up guns and kill without mercy. Because there is just no hope for them. So what we need to do is to change the whole structure of Jamaica, that everybody wants to live. Nobody wants to die, because there's a future in Jamaica. Why do they want to go to the United States? There's a future. Even though it is difficult, there's a future. There's a hope. There's a dream. There's a reality that they can be better people. What do we have in Jamaica? Crime, injustice, and these indicate to us that we need to address these problems.
Begging the question, therefore, Paul, is Jamaica the place to live, grow, build a family, and a living? Is brand Jamaica in a good standing amongst its own people?
Brand Jamaica is in a good standing to its people that are not in Jamaica. It is that brutal.
What is our way forward from these telling numbers tonight, Paul? Because they represent the voices of the people.
If political leaders and those persons who are in power really believe that these numbers are true and reflecting the views of the people, then what they will do is just take stock of what is happening in Jamaica and make this country a better place. And as I said yesterday, we need to decide what type of Jamaica we want and put in place policies and measures. You know what will be sad? Another 30 years in Jamaica, all the educated people are gone. That will be sad. All those resources would have gone. And all this would have been created by the political structures and the elite class. They would have destroyed a country that they don't want to live in later.
Well, what do you know? The harsh facts, harsh reality coming out in this program. You hear it only on the MELLO TV Bill Johnson poll. What a discussion, what an evening, what level of revelations has come to the fore on this program this evening. Bill, come tomorrow. What can be expected?
Tomorrow we look at what would have happened if the local government elections had been held in February as they were originally scheduled to be. And I think people are going to find it very, very interesting in terms of what the results would have been.
There you have it. Join us tomorrow and every weekday until February 25 to get an answer to these and many more important questions during the MELLO TV Bill Johnson poll. And also listen to MELLO TV, MELLO FM, and to Rhythm FM newscasts for the recap. I just want to thank this evening guests, Pollster Bill Johnson and political analyst, commentator Paul Bourne. I'm Evan Hewitt on behalf of the entire production team. Thanks for watching.